The screech of tires on wet
Đừng lo
asphalt
lắng,
shattered the night. My
có
heart
em đây rồi.
slamming against my ribs like it was trying to escape. I gripped the dashboard, knuckles white, as Alex swerved the beat-up pickup truck around a corner in downtown Seattle, laughing like it was all a game. "Come on, Jack. Live a little," he yelled over the roar of the engine. But in that split second, I saw my life flash before minute the careful plans I'd mapped out. But the reckless spark he'd ignited, the one I never knew I needed until it nearly killed us both. I was 25, a software engineer in the heart of the Pacific Northwest, the kind of guy who color-coded his calendar and backed up his life in triplicate. Stability was my religion. Predictability, my prayer. Growing up in a quiet suburb outside Portland, with parents who divorced amicably but left me wary of chaos, I'd built walls around my heart thicker than the firewalls I coded for a living. Coming out in college had been a quiet revelation, not an explosion of few close friends, a supportive therapist, and then the apps. Dating apps for guys like me, the ones seeking something real amid the swipe-right frenzy. That's where the glitch happened. Or maybe it was fate wearing a buggy algorithm's mask. It started 3 months earlier, on a rainy Tuesday evening in my cramped apartment overlooking Puget Sound. I'd matched with the app's AI pairing system, Soul Sync, designed to analyze compatibility down to your coffee order and sleep cycle. I answered the questionnaire honestly, introverted, loyal, dreams of a cozy life with weekend hikes and shared Netflix queues. The system hummed, processed, and spat out Alex Rivera, 26, a freelance photographer from Los Angeles who'd just relocated to Seattle for vibes. His profile pic showed him mid-leap off a cliff into turquoise waves, shirtless and grinning like he owned the ocean. Reckless, thrill-seeking, the opposite of me in every pixel. I almost swiped no, but the app glitched froze, then relaunched with a pop-up, perfect match confirmed. 98% compatibility. Lies, I thought. But curiosity won. We messaged that night. His first text, "Hey careful guy. Want to jump into this without a net?" Mine, "Only if there's a safety harness." By Friday, we were coffee at a corner shop in Capitol Hill. The kind with mismatched mugs and indie folk playing softly. He was magnetic. All sun-kissed skin from California days and eyes like storm clouds ready to break. Alex had grown up in East LA, son of Mexican-American parents who ran a taqueria, the kind of family where love was loud and forgiveness came with extra salsa. He'd come out at 16, stormed through high school with a camera in hand, capturing protests and parties alike. "Life's too short for filters," he'd say, and I believed him, even as my inner voice screamed caution. Our first date stretched into dawn. We wandered Pike Place Market as vendors hawked fresh salmon and flowers, his hand brushing mine accidentally on purpose. He bought me a bouquet of wild daisies, tucked one behind my ear, and laughed when I blushed. See, not so scary. But it was. Every touch felt like a glitch in my code, a variable I hadn't accounted for. By the time we kissed under the neon glow of a vintage arcade sign, his lips tasting of salt and possibility, I was hooked, even as doubt flickered like a bad connection. The weeks blurred into a whirlwind. Alex pulled me into his orbit, midnight drives along the coast, where he'd park on cliffs and we'd watch waves crash like they were applauding our secrets. He'd talk for hours about his dreams photographing indigenous elders in the Southwest, or street art in forgotten alleys while I shared my fears, the quiet ache of wanting to be seen without being shattered. He listened, really listened, his fingers tracing patterns on my palm that made my pulse stutter. But recklessness shadowed him like a bad habit. He'd forget his phone charger and we'd be stranded. He'd chase a perfect sunset shot and miss a deadline, grinning sheepishly as I bailed him out with my spare cable. One evening, as autumn leaves turned the park's gold, We sat on a bench in Discovery Park, the sound stretching out like a promise. "Jack," he said, voice soft for once. "You're the anchor I didn't know I was drifting without." My chest tightened. I'd never been anyone's anchor, too busy tying knots in my own ropes. We made love that night in his loft. Slow and tentative. Bodies learning each other like new code. No rush. Just the raw vulnerability of skin on skin. Breaths sinking in the dark. Afterward, tangled in sheets, he whispered stories of his ex. A guy who'd left because Alex's fire burned too bright. "I'm a lot," he admitted. I pulled him closer. "Good thing I like a challenge." But challenges have edges. By month 2, the glitches showed. SoulSync sent error notifications, pairing anomaly detected. I ignored them, chalked it up to beta bugs. Alex's energy, once electric, started sparking out of control. He'd vanish for hours on photo shoots in sketchy warehouses, emerging with scraped knuckles and wild tales. "Just documenting the city's underbelly," he'd say, but worry gnawed at me like static. One night, after a gallery opening where he networked like a storm, we argued in the rain-slicked streets. "You can't live like everything's disposable," I shouted, voice cracking. He fired back, eyes flashing, "And you can't code your way out of feeling." We stood there, soaked and silent, until he cupped my face. "I'm sorry. I pushed because I'm scared you'll see the mess and run." I didn't run. I kissed him instead, tasting regret and rain. As winter crept in, with its gray skies and endless drizzle, our rhythm deepened. I introduced him to my sister, Mia, over Thanksgiving dinner in my parents' old house, now hers. After the divorce, she eyed him suspiciously at first, this whirlwind who'd upended her brother's spreadsheets. But by pie, she was laughing at his impressions of LA traffic. And later, in the kitchen, she hugged me tight. "He's good for you, Jack." Messy, but real. Alex overheard. And for the first time, I saw vulnerability crack his facade. That night, back in Seattle, he cried in my arms, confessing the fear that had chased him north, his father's heart attack last year. The guilt of being the wild one who couldn't stay put. We built routines amid the chaos. Mornings, I'd brew coffee while he sketched ideas on napkins. Evenings, we'd cook his spicy pozole, clashing gloriously with my bland pasta. He taught me to frame the world through his lens, capturing candid shots of us in flannel shirts against evergreen backdrops. I taught him patience, debugging his freelance pitches until they landed gigs. Love, I realized, wasn't a perfect algorithm. It was rewriting the code together, line by buggy line. Yet the recklessness lingered, a shadow in our light. It peaked that stormy February night, the one with the tires and the swerve. We'd been at a queer youth center fundraiser, Alex volunteering his photos, me handling tech setup. High on the night's energy, he'd insisted on driving home via the winding routes through Queen and Hill, radio blasting indie rock. "Adventure, babe," he'd crowed. Then the curve, the hydroplane, the guardrail inches from doom. Time slowed, his laugh died. My scream echoed. And in that heartbeat, I saw it all our mornings. Our fights. The way his hand fit mine like it was always meant to. The truck fishtailed to a stop, engine ticking like a bomb defused. Silence fell, heavy as fog. Alex turned, face pale, eyes wide with the terror he'd hidden so well. "Jack." I almost. His voice broke. I unbuckled, pulled him across the console into a hug that crushed the air from us both. "Don't you dare," I whispered, tears hot on my cheeks. "Don't you dare leave me like that." We sat there, engines cooling, hearts racing, until the rain eased and the city lights beckoned us home. In the aftermath, Something shifted. Alex started therapy, the kind I'd nudged him toward months ago, unpacking the adrenaline junkie mask born from a childhood of scraping by. I run toward danger because standing still feels like drowning. He admitted one gray afternoon, curled on my couch with a sketchpad idle in his lap. I knelt before him, hands on his knees. Then we'll learn to swim together. No more solo dives. He nodded, pulling me up, our foreheads touching in quiet promise. Spring brought renewal, tentative as cherry blossoms along the waterfront. We took a road trip down the Oregon coast. No itinerary, just a cooler of sandwiches and his camera. At Cannon Beach, with Haystack Rock looming like a sentinel, he proposed we make it official, not marriage. Not yet, but a commitment pact, scrawled on a napkin, through glitches and guardrails. We're in this code. I laughed, signed it with a flourish. That night, under stars sharp as promises, we talked futures, his gallery show in Portland, my promotion that might mean a move south. Compromise, we'd learned, was the real hack. But life, like any system, throws curveballs. Mid-May, SoulSync crash NationWidia server meltdown exposing user data. Pairings dissolved in digital dust. Mine pinged last, anomaly resolved. Recommend reset. Alex's too. Friends panicked, swiping anew. But we stared at our phones, then at each other, and laughed. Glitch or not, he said, you're my upgrade. We deleted the app that weekend, hands intertwined over the trash icon, choosing us over algorithms. Summer swelled with heat and hope. Alex's photos hung in a small Capitol Hill gallery, raw portraits of queer elders, their stories etched in wrinkles and wisdom. I stood beside him at the opening, pride swelling as strangers lingered, moved. You see, souls, I whispered. He squeezed my hand. Only because you taught me to look closer. We danced that night to a live band, bodies swaying in sync, the crowd a blur of acceptance. Yet beneath the bloom, old fears stirred. Alex's father called from cancer. Stage 2. The recklessness I'd once cursed became his armor again, frantic calls. Impulsive tickets booked. I have to go, he said, pacing our kitchen. I nodded. But panic clawed. What if he stayed? What if he broke? Take me with you, I urged. He hesitated, then nodded. We flew south together. The dry heat a shock after Seattle's mist. East LA enveloped us like a hug too tight. His family home smelled of cilantro and memory. His mother enfolding me like a son. Over tamales and tears, Alex confronted the man who'd raised him stubborn, silent, now frail in a hospital bed. Dad, I love you. Even the messy parts. The old man gripped his hand, eyes wet. Always knew. Me, Joe. Just wished you'd slow down. Forgiveness flowed, raw and redemptive, and I held Alex as he shattered, piecing him back with whispers of you're enough. Back north. Transformed. We wove deeper. Fall classes at the local community center teaching basic coding to at-risk youth. Him photography workshops for trans kids. We'd debrief over cider. Sharing triumphs, a student's first app. A teen's breakthrough self-portrait. We're building something, he'd say. And I'd agree. Our lives a shared project. Bugs and all. Winter circled again, but softer this time. On our anniversary, the Glitch Dateway revisited that arcade. Played games until quarters ran dry. Outside, snow dusted the streets. Rare for Seattle. He pulled a small box from his pocket, not a ring, but matching pendants, etched with binary for love. No more abandoning, he vowed. I fastened his around his neck, our pulses echoing. Never. The real test came in March, as cherry blossoms peaked. Alex's Wanderlust Florida lead on a documentary gig in the Rockies. Months away. Come, he asked, voice laced with old fears. I waited, my job, our routines. But growth isn't linear. It's the leap. Yes, I said. But we video call every dawn. He grinned. That reckless spark now tempered with trust. As we packed, I reflected on the glitch that started it all. Not an error, but an invitation to feel, to fall, to fight for the flawed beauty of us. Alex, the partner I couldn't abandon, had become my compass, pointing toward a horizon we chased hand in hand. In the end, love isn't assigned. It's chosen, glitch by glorious glitch. The mountain air bit crisp as we crested the pass into Colorado, the Rockies unfolding like a promise kept. Alex hooped from the driver's seat, his hand stealing over to squeeze my thigh, a habit now as natural as breathing. It had been 6 months since the glitch, a year of us, and this trip felt like graduation from tentative matches to unbreakable code. I smiled, watching his profile against the snow-capped peaks, the way his eyes lit with that unquenchable fire. Slow down, cowboy, I teased, but my heart raced with him, not against. The documentary gig was his dream distilled, capturing stories of queer ranchers in the high country, men and women who'd carved lives from rugged land, defying isolation and ink. He'd landed it through sheer grit, pitching to a small indie film collective after weeks of cold emails I'd helped polish. This is it, Jack, he'd said the night the offer came, pulling me into a spin around the living room. Real impact. I'd beamed, pride swelling. But beneath it, a whisper of worry, the wild's meant spotty signal. Long days. The kind of solitude that could stir his old demons. We settled into a cabin outside Durango. All pine walls and wood stove glow. The kind of place that smelled like home, even to a city boy like me. I'd negotiated remote work with my firm, laptops and lattes shipped ahead so mornings were mine for code. Afternoons his for shoots. Evenings, we'd hike trails dusted with aspen gold. His camera slung over one shoulder. My hand in his pocket for warmth. Remember Seattle rain? He'd murmur, breath fogging the air. This is better. I'd nod, stealing kisses amid the crunch of leaves. Bodies aligning like stars we'd learned to navigate. But the work unearthed layers. His first interview, a grizzled cowboy in his 50s. Out only to his horses until a near-fatal fall forced truth. Hid so long. Thought I'd rust from the inside. The man rasped. Eyes on the horizon. Alex's lens captured his weathered hands. The quiet strengthened later. By firelight. He unpacked it with me. He reminds me of Dad before the end. His father had passed quietly last summer, the cancer claiming him amid reconciliations we'd witnessed. Alex's voice cracked. What if I rust too? Hide behind the next rush. I pulled him close, our pendants clinking softly. Then I'll polish you. We're past hiding. The days stretched, a rhythm of revelation. I'd join shoots sometimes, holding reflectors or brewing coffee for interviewees, a trans woman running a dude ranch. Her laugh booming as she roped calves. A young couple who'd met at a pride rodeo, building a life from saddles and dreams. Their stories wove into ours, threads of resilience that mended Alex's frayed edges. One evening, after filming a widow's tale of love lost to AIDS in the 80s, he sat silent on the porch, camera forgotten. They fought for scraps. He said finally, "We have feasts." Tears traced his cheeks. I wiped them. Our grief a shared language now. My own growth mirrored his. Subtle as code refactoring. Back in Seattle, I'd been the fixer, debugging his chaos. Here, amid the vastness, I learned to let go, skipping my runs to stargaze, trusting the trail without a map. One dawn, as mist clung to meadows, He caught me unawares with his lens, me, tousled and tentative, gazing at the sunrise. My muse, he quipped, but his eyes held something deeper gratitude. Perhaps, for the man who'd stayed through storms. Conflict brewed mid-shoot, as it always does in uncharted code. A blizzard rolled in unannounced, stranding us for days. Power flickering like a bad commit. Alex paced. Frustration mounting, deadlines loomed. Footage at risk. I can't fail this. He snapped one night, slamming his laptop. Old patterns surged, his voice sharp. My retreat inward. You're not failing. I countered. Steady. You're human. The argument escalated. Words like hail, his fear of inadequacy clashing with my plea for presence. We slept, backs turned. The cabin's silence louder than wind. Dawn broke white and unforgiving. I woke to find him gone. Tracks leading to the ridge. Panic spiked. Visions of cliffs and crashes flooded me. I bundled up. Followed. Heart pounding. There. Atop the snow-swept peak. He stood with camera in hand, filming the storm's aftermathicals like diamonds. World reborn. Couldn't sleep. He admitted as I reached him. Breath ragged. Needed to see it clear. I hugged him from behind, chiding softly. Next time. Wake me. We're a team. Remember? He turned. Apology in his kiss. The cold forgotten. Team forever. The thaw brought clarity. We submitted the rough cut early, earning praise that lit him from within. Couldn't without you, he said at the wrap party in a Durango saloon, clinking beers with crew. I watched him shine. The reckless boy evolved into a storyteller with roots. On the drive home, windows down to autumn chill, he played the footage voices of the range. Raw and real. This is us, he said, documenting the fight, the love. Back in Seattle, reinvigorated, we dove deeper. He launched a website for the film, crowdsourcing funds. I coded the back end. Seamless and secure. Holidays approached, and for the first time, we hosted Thanksgiving with Mia and her kids. Tables groaning under turkey and tamales. Laughter echoed. Toasts to glitches turned graces. Later, as snow flurried outside, Alex pulled me to the window. Look what we built. I did, family. Not blood, but chosen. Warm against the night. Winter deepened our bond. He surprised me with a darkroom setup in the basement as holiday gift. A nod to analog amid my digital world. We developed prints together. Chemicals sharp in the air. Images emerging like secrets, us on the coast. Foreheads touching. Him laughing mid-somersault on a Seattle beach. Proof, he'd say. Hanging them to dry. I'd counter. Of what? That glitches make masterpieces. But shadows lingered. Early spring. A call from LA, his mother. Spiraling after the loss. Needing him. Go? I urged. Packing his bag. I'll hold the fort. He lingered at the door. Eyes searching. Promise you'll be here. Always. He left. And the apartment echoed empty, teaching me the ache of space. Days blurred work calls. Solo hikes until his texts. Mom's smiling again. Miss your coffee. I flew down midway, surprising him at the taqueria. We cooked side by side. Her stories filling the air. Healing old wounds. Return brought renewal. We adopted a rescue dog, a scruffy mutt named Bite, fitting my annoyed heart. Walks became rituals, leashes tangled. Hands brushing. Talks turning profound. Ever think about kids? He asked one drizzly evening, tossing a stick. I paused. The question a fork in our code. Someday. With you. Yeah. His grin split the clouds. Summer hummed with possibility. His film premiered at a queer film fest in Portland. Standing room only. We sat front row, hands clasped, as applause thundered. Post-screening. A producer approached offers for more. National tour. Alex buzzed later. Over celebratory foe. I nodded. Excitement laced with logistics. We'll map it. Together. Yet triumph tests foundations. The tour meant separations, him jetting to festivals. Me anchoring home. First crack, a week in San Francisco. His messages delayed by time zones. Worry fermented into doubt. Was the glitch repeating? Pulling him to brighter lights. I buried it in work. But it festered until his call. Voice weary. Crowds are loud. But you're my quiet. Relief flooded. I confessed. Scared you'll outgrow the anchor. He laughed softly. Never. You're the depth. We adapted surprise visits. Virtual dates with wine and webcams. Fall leaves turned. And with them, decisions. My job offered a lead role. More travel. Sync up. He proposed. We did. Calendars merging like our lives. As winter loomed, we reflected on the ridge that started it, the glitch, the swerve, the choices. I'd do it again, he said, snowflakes catching in his lashes. I pulled him close. Me too. Every buggy line. Spring erupted in Seattle like a long-held breath. Cherry blossoms carpeting the paths in pink confetti. Bite bounded ahead on our walks. A blur of fur and joy. While Alex and I trailed. Fingers laced. Sinking steps. The tour had wrapped triumphantly as film earning awards. Hearts touched from coast to coast. We did that, he'd say. Framing a print on our wall, the cowboy's knowing smile. But success, like code, invites expansion. And with it, the subtle strain of scaling up. Offers poured in, a book deal for the photos. Speaking gigs at universities. Even a TEDx slot on queer visibility in rural America. Alex thrived in the spotlight. His passion a beacon. But I saw the toll the late nights editing. The jet lag etching lines around his eyes. Pace yourself. I'd murmur over breakfast. Sliding him green smoothies. He'd wink. That reckless glint undimmed. Can't stop now. Jack. Momentum's magic. I nodded. But unease hummed low. A background process I couldn't quite kill. My promotion synced us closer, leading a team on AI ethics. Ironically, for apps like the one that matched us. Full circle. I joked at our team dinner. Toasting with craft IPAs. Colleagues ribbed me about the glitch boyfriend. But their warmth affirmed our normalcy. Alex charmed them all, regaling with rancher tales. And later, in bed, whispered, proud of you, boss man. His touch grounded me. A reminder that ambition needn't divide. Yet divides form in whispers. Early summer. A curveball. The book publisher wanted a co-author. Someone to weave narrative through his visuals. You. He asked one sunset hike. Mount Rainier looming distant. My stomach flip-triding terrified me. Words too fluid for my structured mind. Me. I'm code. Not prose. He persisted. Gentle. Your voice makes sense of the chaos. Please. Flattered. Daunted. I agreed to try. Nights became hours alone, him pacing with ideas. Me drafting chapters on my laptop. Bites snoring at our feet. It bonded us deeper. Vulnerabilities shared like drafts, his fear of fading relevance. My imposter whispers. The manuscript flowed. Raw and real. But deadlines loomed like thunderheads. Tempers frayed. A missed edit session led to snapped words over takeout. You're burying yourself in pixels. He accused. And you're chasing ghosts. I shot back. Silence followed. Heavy as unsent revisions. We cooled in separate corners on the balcony. Staring at fairies slicing the sound. Him in the darkroom. Chemicals hissing accusations. Dawn brought truce, coffee steaming. Apologies soft. We're better than this, he said. Hand over mine. Rewrite together. Healing came in small commits. We escaped to the San Juan Islands. Ferrying to Orcas for a weekend unplugged, no screens. Just kayaks and campfires. Paddling glassy bays. Seals eyeing us curiously. We unpacked the string. Success scares me, he confessed. Oars dipping rhythmic. What if it changes us? I leaned close. Water lapping. It will. But we'll debug it. That night, stars wheeling overhead. We made promises etched in embers, monthly check-ins. No reservations, getaways. Always the other's first reader. Fall gilded the edges. The book launch loomed in New York, October. Leaves aflame in Central Park. We flew east. Nerves electric. At the reading. Packed house buzzing. Alex spoke first. His journey from LA streets to mountain truths. Then me. Voice steadying as I read our joint words, themes of chosen family. Glitches as gifts. Applause crashed. Signings stretched hours. Fans sharing stories that mirrored ours. You too glow. One said. And we did. Hands brushing under the table. But glory's glow casts long shadows. Back west. Post-tour blues hit Alex hard emptiness after the rush. A void my steady days couldn't fill. He withdrew. Sketches piling untouched. Smiles forced. Just decompressing. He'd claim. But I saw the spiral, skipped meals. Restless nights. Therapy sessions ramped up. His counselor's words filtering back, grieve the highs. Or they'll haunt. I grieved with him. Holding space in silences. Reminding him of roots. Winter whispered change. Holidays brought his mother north. Her visit a bomb stories of Alex's boyhood mischief. Recipes scribbled on cards. Over lax and luminarias. She pulled me aside. He was lost before you. Thank you for staying. Tears pricked. I hugged her fierce. He's my found. New year dawned with resolve. We volunteered at the youth center again. Mentoring a new cohort, teens grappling identities in a world still glitchy with bias. One kid, a shy 15-year-old named Riley, reminded me of college Jack, guarded. Brilliant. Alex drew him out with camera walks. I taught coding circles. Watching them bloom. We saw our reflection fragile starts to sturdy arcs. Spring circled back. Blossoms defiant. The book hit shelves. Reviews praising its heart. But metrics paled to personal wins. Alex starting a podcast. Interviewing queer trailblazers. Me pitching a workshop on ethical AI for LGBTQ+ creators. Our lives, once siloed, converged in creation. Yet the ultimate test brewed unseen. Late April. A health scare. Routine check for me unearthed a lump. Benign but rattling. Panic surged memories of his father's fight. My own mortality code crashing. I downplayed it. But Alex saw through. Canceling a gig to sit vigil at appointments. No solos. He insisted. Echoing our pact. Results clear. Relief washed us. But it forged steel, biannual checkups. Mutual mantras of presence. Summer solstice. We marked a milestone, 3 years since the glitch. Picnic on Alki Beach. Waves lapping. Bite chasing gulls. He unpacked a folder, adoption papers. Exploratory. Not now. But soon. Eyes met. Futures aligning. Soon. I echoed. As sun dipped. Painting sky and fire. I traced his jaw. From reckless assign to thishowed we get here. He grinned. That spark eternal. One buggy line at a time. The adoption folder stayed on the shelf. A seed not yet sprouted. But its presence rooted us deeper into forever. Summer unfurled lazy and lush. Seattle's rare sun coaxing us outdoors, farmers markets bursting with berries. Paddleboard sessions on Lake Union where I'd wobble and he'd steady. Laughter echoing off water. Bite had grown into his paws. A loyal shadow. And our routines felt sacred. Sunday brunches with Mia's family, where nephews clamored for Uncle Alex's tall tales. Work hummed in harmony. My AI ethics team launched a toolkit for inclusive apps, irony noted. Given our origins, story earning kudos from advocacy groups. Alex's podcast gained traction. Episodes downloaded by thousands. Voices from all corners sharing glitches turned triumphs. We'd collaborate late, me scripting intros, him editing audio, wine glasses sweating on the console. We're a machine. He'd quip, kissing my temple. I'd retort, well-oiled, at least. But harmony invites harmony's foe, complacency's creep. Early August. A whisper of wanderlust stirred in Alexa's solo retreat to Big Sur. To recharge the muse. I encouraged it, packing his bag with notes tucked in socks, daily affirmations. My love and haiku. He returned sun-scorched and serene. Portfolio brimming with coastal abstractions. Missed your anchors, he admitted, pulling me into salt-kissed arms. The closeness reignited. But so did my vigilant subtle questions about balance. Unspoken fears of drift. Fall's palette shifted ours too. Mia announced her engagement, a quiet ceremony in spring, and asked us to co-officiate. You too. With your glitch fairy tale. Perfect. We dove in, brainstorming vows that wove our story, resilience in rain, love in leaps. Rehearsals became therapy, airing our microfractures. What if we glitch again? He'd muse, adjusting his tie in the mirror. I'd step behind, arms circling. Then we patch. Vows or not. The wedding bloomed under Mayflowers. Backyard affair with wildflowers and whiskey. We stood before the arch. Voices steady, in chaos and calm. We choose each other. Guests teared up. Alex squeezed my hand mid-ceremony. Our pendants glinting. Reception danced into dusk. And later, crashing at Mia's guest room. We whispered plans, our own someday. Small and soon. Summers in brought a bolt. Alex's podcast landed a sponsor, major network. Syndication dreams. Jubilation first. Then the undercurrent, relocation talks. LA tempting with lights. Temporarily. He hedged over dinner. Chopsticks paused. My fork stilled. And me. The question hung. Loaded. Of course. Remote. But doubt debugged it. My team's in-office push. Roots tangled here. Let's table it, I said, forcing calm. Nights stretched taut. Conversations circling like faulty loops. Conflict compiled. A weekend getaway to the Olympics aimed to reset cabins and creeks. No cells. But tension trailed, passive jabs over maps. Silences thicker than fog. Cresting a trail to Sol Duc Falls. It burst. You're clipping my wings. He exploded. Pack thudding. And you're flying solo again. I fired. Chest heaving. Water roared below, mirroring our roar. We stood apart, breaths sinking with spray. Until he bridged, I need this. But not without you. Tears mixed with mist. Then we navigate together. No solos. Embrace followed. Falls forgiving. Resolution rippled. We compromised, hybrid setup. Me commuting quarters. Him basing in Seattle. The network agreed. Flexibility the key. Fall deepened gratitude, Thanksgiving at his mom's. Blending traditions, turkey with mole. Stories spanning coasts. Winter wove warmth. Holiday markets twinkled. Bite decked in a ridiculous sweater. We strung lights on our tree. Ornaments etched with dates, glitch night. Swerve survival. Film premiere. Our timeline. Alex said. Hanging the first. I added. Infinite branches. New Year brought bold strokes. Inspired by the wedding, we penned our own micro-vows private. Pocket folded, I promise to debug your doubts. To leap with your light. Exchanged at midnight. Fireworks blooming over the sound. Spring stirred seeds. The adoption folder opened. Classes. Home studies. Hearts prepped. Meetings with counselors unearthed. Hopes imagining a child with Alex's spark. My steadiness. Scary beautiful. He breathed after one session. I nodded. Hand on his knee. Worth the rewrite. Yet life's syntax shifts. Mid-May. My mother-long distant post-divorcer reached out. Cancer echo of his dad's. Wanna meet? Her email read. Alex urged yes. Closure's a gift. We drove south. Portland's bridges spanning old gaps. Lunch was awkward small talk to stories. Her apologies soft. I failed you, she said. I shook head. You taught caution. Alex's presence eased it. His warmth melting ice. Drive home. I exhaled decades. Thanks for holding space. He smiled. Always your co-pilot. Summer solstice circled. 4 years glitch marked. Beach bonfire. Waves chanting. We buried a time capsule, letters to future us. Photos faded soft. To the boy I was. Alex read his aloud. Voice thick. Thanks for the fire. Mine. To the coder afraid love's the ultimate hack. As embers died. Stars emerged. Where next? He asked. Head on my chest. Everywhere. Together. Autumn's amber hues heralded harvest in our hearts. The adoption process ripening like late grapes. Home visits passed with bites, enthusiastic endorsements, stale wags as stamps of approval. Profiles circulated, a toddler boy from foster care. Wide-eyed wonder named Theo. 3 years old. With curls like Alex's and a laugh that disarmed. Him. Alex whispered over the photo. Finger tracing. I nodded. Throat tight. Our glitch's gift. Paperwork piled. But so did preparations, baby-proofing the loft. Painting a nursery in soft sage. Shelves stocked with board books and blocks. Nights. We'd pore over parenting podcasts. Anxieties airing like laundry. What if I'm too reckless? He'd fret. Sanding crib edges. What if I'm too rigid? I'd counter. Folding tiny clothes. Laughter followed. Sealing fears. Winter wrapped us in anticipation. Holidays doubled joyful me as family swelling the table. Toasts to the almost foursome. His mom knitted booties. Shipping them north with notes for the wild hearts. New Year's. We danced in the kitchen. Radio crooning. Hands on growing bellies of dreams. Resolution dawned crisp. Placement day, February. Snow dusting the agency lot. Theo arrived shy. Clutching a stuffed bear. Caseworker murmuring stats abandoned young. Bounced homes. But resilient spark. Alex knelt first. Eyes level. Hey. Buddy. Ready for adventures? Theo's gaze flicked to me. Hesitant. Then a tiny hand extended. Mine enveloped it. World tilting. Welcome home. Early days blurred tender and trying. Sleepless nights. Theo's cries piercing dark colic or echoes. We couldn't tell. I'd rock him. Humming lullabies my mom once sang. While Alex brewed coffee. Shadows under eyes. Diaper debacles tested us. Blowouts mid-meal. Laughter chasing frustration. Teamwork. We'd affirm. High-fiving over wipes. Spring bloomed with bonds. Theo's first steps wobbled toward us in the park. Grass tickling knees. His giggles a symphony. Alex captured it video shaky. Joy steady. Our director's cut. He joked. I taught shapes with blocks. His square. Triumphant. Milestones mounted. First words, dada. Dual directed. Hearts exploding. Park picnics where he'd chase ducks. Us trailing. Hands brushing. Yet parenting's code crashes too. Summer heatwave. Theo spiked a fever-innocent cold, turning scary fast. ER lights harsh. Doctors probing. Alex paced corridors. Recklessness reigned to prayer. He's tough. I soothed. But fear gripped. Negative for worse. Antibiotics prescribed. We exhaled homeward. That night, Theo curled between us. Breaths even. We vowed, no more solos and scares. Fall's foliage framed family. We enrolled him in playgroup. Watching from mats as he shared toys tentatively. Friendships budding. Mia's wedding anniversary bash doubled as our reveal Theo's existence unveiled. Cheers cascading. Auntie Mia's got a nephew. She crowed, scooping him up. Winter whispered wonders. Theo's first snow, mittens muffling claps as flakes fell. Us building forts. Hot cocoa steaming. Holiday's magical tree lights reflecting in his all-wide eyes. Gifts unwrapped to squeals. His mom's visit overlapped. Grandmother tales and chanting. Her arms a bridge across miles. New Year. 5 glitch years strong. We reflected poolside at a cabin getaway, Theo splashing. Us toes touching. From duo to trio. Alex marveled. Best upgrade. Spring cycled Theo's second birthday, park party. Balloons bobbing. Cake smeared on chubby cheeks. Friends gathered, youth center alums. Now young adults. Toasting mentors turned parents. Full circle, I said. Wiping frosting. Alex nodding beside. But circles spin challenges. Mid-May. Work tugged, my firm-eyed expansion. Travel demands clashing with Theo's routine. Alex's book tour sequel loomed virtual mostly. But fatigue frayed. Naptime arguments simmered. We can't half-ass this. He'd hiss. Or burn out. I'd retort. Resolution, sabbatical staggered. Childcare co-op enlisted. Summer solstice. We renewed vows privately, beach at dusk. Theo dozing in carrier. Through tantrums and triumphs. We echoed. Rings twisting simple bands added last year. Waves approved. Eternal. Growth graced us. Theo's curiosity sparked projects. Finger paints with Alex. Coding apps for tots with me. His questions probed. Why 2.us? We'd answer honest. Love's many shapes. Like clouds. Acceptance absorbed. He beamed. Fall deepened dialogues. School scouting began progressive preschool. Queer affirming. Open house nerves eased by Theo's fearless finger paints. Teachers praising his spirit. He's got your fire. One said to Alex. And Jack's focus. To me. Winter wove tighter. Theo's first cold snapped us, vigilant vaporizers humming. Stories soothing. Recovery brought coziness. Fort Reeds. Cocoa circles. Holidays amplified. Extended family video calls. His mom's flights north for cookie bakes. As snow melted to spring promise. We eyed horizons. A family trip to Ella Root's revisit. Beaches for Theo's toes. Plans sketched. Hearts full. From glitch to grace. Alex murmured one starry eve. Theo tucked. Us entwined. Infinite us. The LA trip unfolded like a homecoming remix. Sun-drenched days blending Alex's past with our present. Theo toddled Venice boardwalk. Ice cream dripping. Gulls scattering at his shrieks. His mom hosted barbecues. Backyard alive with cousins' older kids hoisting him high. Laughter in Spanglish waves. Familia grows. She said. Eyes misty. Hugging us trio tight. Evenings. We'd walk Santa Monica Pier. Ferris wheel lights twinkling. Theo's yawn sinking with sea sighs. This is legacy. Alex whispered. Hand in mine. Back north. Summer's tail whipped winds of change. Theo's preschool start. Drop-off tears his and ours. But pickups brimmed pride crayon masterpieces. Snack time buddies. We'd pore over them at dinner. Decoding doodles. That's you. Dada Jack. With the straight lines. Giggles general. Work waves crested. My sabbatical yielded a book of my own ethical AI tales. Co-dedicated to Alex and Theo. Launch overlapped his tour stop in Seattle. Dual signings at an indie shop. Theo helping with stamps. Fans cued. Stories shared, parents inspired. Couples glitch grateful. Your words built us. One said. Humbled. We high-fived under the counter. Fall's harvest held hurdles. Theo caught flu circuit chain of sniffles stressing our sink. Night's blurred caregiving tag team. Patience pixels fraying. One midnight meltdown. Bottles clinking. Alex slumped. Am I enough? Voice small. I paused. Formula mixing. More than. We're the code, he runs on. Dawn brought bounce back, park reset. Swings soaring. Winter's hush healed. Holidays heartful, gingerbread villages with Theo's wonky roofs. Carols crooned off-key. Mia's visit overlapped New Year's. Her tales of newlywed bliss mirroring ours. Parenting's the real hack. She toasted. Spring sparked expansion. Theo's vocabulary vaulted questions cascading. Why rain? How stars? We'd wonder together. Field trips to museums. Aquariums alive with awe. Alex's lens chronicled it. Growth charts and photos. Candid captures of curiosity. Yet undercurrents churned. Mid-May. A colleague poached, rival firm. Led AI role in Cali. Tempting salary. But uproot. Discussions dance dinners. Pros, son. Family proximity. Cons, Theo's stability. Our woven world. Visit first. Alex suggested. We did weekend scout. Theo splashing Malibu pools. But uproot anxiety lingered. Roots matter. I concluded. Firm countered with remote flex. Decision debugged. Summer solstice. 6 years glitchborn. We camped Cascades tent tails. Esmore sticky. Theo's firefly chases. Around flames. We shared visions, school for him. Sabbaticals for us. Perhaps another child. Grows the glitch. Alex grinned. Fall-framed firsts. Theo's preschool play. Pirate theme. Him captaining with wooden sword. Parents' night glowed reports. Social spark. Focused friend. Pride parental. Winter wove whimsy. Snow days sledding. Coco crafts Theo's mittens masterpieces. Holidays hosted his mom full week. Tamale mornings. Tree trimming twilights. Blessed chaos. She beamed. As thaw teased. We tackled Theo's therapy nudge speech delay subtle. Early intervention key. Sessions soft. Games. Not drills. Progress in purrs. Team effort. Therapist affirmed. We absorbed. Adapting. Spring's bloom brought bold. A sibling seed, fostering inquiry. Short-term trial. Classes crammed. Hearts hopeful. First placement, infant girl. Lila. For months. Eyes like midnight. Theo's big brother, awe, gentle pats. Toy offerings. Night's nurse tandem. Exhaustion edged with ecstasy. Summer's heat honed us. Dual diapers. Double delights Lila's coos harmonizing Theo's chatter. Beach days doubled. Sandcastles collaborative. Naps nested. Alex's shoots paused for snuggles. My code calls cradled carriers. But bandwidth buckled. August arguments aired. Need a night off. Snaps over spills. Resolution. Date nights delegated sitters trusted. Dinners duo. Rekindled. We recommitted. Weekly check-ins. No judgment journals. Fall's foliage fell soft. Lila's placement extended bond blooming. Theo's school strode. Kindergarten scout. Nerves navigated. Open house optimism. Winter whispered waits. Holidays quadrupled. For stockings. Chaos carols. His mom's annual visit amplified grandkids galore. Story stacked. New Year. Theo 5. Lila 1. Us unbreakable. Resolutions rooted, family first. Glitches as guides. Spring cycled sibling solid. Lila's crawl conquered living room. Theo's reads rhymed books. Fostering formalized adoption, avenues explored. Yet yields yield, my book tour beckoned East Coast swing. Weeks away. Go? Alex urged. We've got this. Virtual vignettes, bedtime stories via screen. Heart hugs holding. Return reunion rapturous, airport arms open. Theo's signs waving. Missed your stories. Dada. Lila's gurgles greeted. Summer solstice. Fireside family. From duo to four. Alex marveled. Stars saluting. Glitch's grandest gift. Autumn's approach angled adventures anew. Lila's first steps stumbling into Theo's cheers. Our home a haven of hurrahs. Kindergarten for Theo launched leaps backpack bulging. Bus bravery. Drop-offs tugged heartstrings. But his ways waned worries. Made a fort friend. Reports wrapped. Fostering flowered fully, Lila's adoption finalized November. Courthouse crisp with confetti tosses. Sisters and brothers forever. Judge smiled. Papers signed. We celebrated sushi sprawl. Toasts tear-tinged. Our patchwork perfect. Alex affirmed. Chopsticks clinking. Winter's wonder wrapped fourfold. Snow sculptures sibling sculpted. Hot toddies for us. Cider for them. Holidays hummed harmony. Extended kin converging. Mia's twins toddling tandem with Lila. His mom's migration north yearly no abuela adventures. Piñata parties. Spring's surge spurred shifts. Theo's reading rocketed. Lila's lisps labeled love's mama. To his mom on calls. Melting us. Family photos framed. Professional session. Park posed. Pennants peaking. Mid-May milestone, 7 glitch years. Cabin retreat. Kids kayaking kitty-sized. Us kayaking quiet. Evenings echoed evolutions, from reckless to rooted. I reflected. Alex nodded. Your steady scripted it. Summer's symphony sang sibling synergy. Camp enrollments, Theo trailblazing. Lila lakeside with us. Evenings engineered, grill games. Bedtime sagas co-authored. But balances beam-tested. Alex's gallery solo show beckoned LA week. Coinciding my conference. Swap sitters. Logistics looped. Landing Mia's aid. Departures double-dosed doubt. But check-ins cheered. Theo's telescope triumphs. Lila's lullaby leads. Returns rejoiced. Airport anthems. Hugs hurricane. Best team. Kids chorused. Fall's framework fortified. School strides. Theo's science fair star. Volcano victory. Lila's daycare debut. Daisy chains daily. Parent-teacher praises. Thriving tribe. Winter wove wisdom. Flu season felled few. But fortitude followed chicken soup cycles. Story stacks. Holidays hosted hybrid, virtual kin. Local legends. New Year nestled nuclear. Resolutions refined, reading rituals. Resilience rounds. Spring spark. Theo's questions quested. Why two moms for some kids? Truth told tenderly. Love's labels loose. Pride parent pulsed. Mid-May. 8 years echoed. Beach bonfire. Babies bundled. Bon mots, glitched to galaxy. Summer's sun summoned south. LA legacy trip. Familia fiesta. Cousins corralled. Beaches basked. Bonds burnished. Yet yields. Work woo to gain me firm fusion with Cali counterpart. Hybrid hint. Trial tri-state. Alex pondered. Test weekends weighed. Theo's school sway. Lila's little links. Stay stitched. We settled. Seattle supreme. Fall's fanfare. Theo's talent show tenor. Recorder rendition riveting. Lila's letters looping lines. Family film night Fridays. Glitches as gags. Graces as gospel. Winter's whisper. Wanderlust waned. Warmth within one. Holidays hallowed. His mom's hearth. Heart's helpers. As thaw thrilled. Theo turned 7. Party pirates. Presents piled. Lilas 2. Tulips and trucks. Twirls triumphant. Summer solstice. Fireside 4. Infinite iterations. Alex avowed. Embers echoing. The years layered like sedimentary stories. Each stratum scarred and shining with the grit of growth. Theo, now 8, navigated 3rd grade with a scientist's scrutiny experiments erupting in the kitchen. Hypotheses tested on Bite's patient pause. Lila, 4, danced through preschool with artist's abandon. Murals manifesting moods in marker mayhem. Our home, once echoey loft, now labyrinth of Legos and lullabies, pulsed with the particular pandemonium of purpose. 9 glitch anniversaries dawned drizzly, fitting our origin fog. We marked it muted, museum morning. Kids cataloging curios. Us curating quiet glances. From swerve to steady. I toasted at tapas twilight. Theo toasting tang. Lila licking lime. Alex's eyes, ever electric, softened. Steadies the thrill now. Summer's swelter spurred sabbatical cross-country camper crawl. Route 66 reversed. Badlands baked. Grand Canyon gaped. Kids gaping grander. Theo tallied license plates. Lila labeled landmarks. Campfire confessions. Alex admitting anchor's ease. Me embracing entropy. Chaos coded cute. I conceded. Fall's forge fashioned fortitude. Theo's taekwondo tumbled tenacity. Lila's ballet balanced grace. Parent portals praised progress. Empathic explorers. Evenings engineered equity. Chore charts. Choice chats.